The sound of metal creaking against the weight of years made Travis pause as he crouched beside the old trailer. He had just started working at the truck stop along the I-40 in New Mexico, but something about this forgotten relic called to him. It was a simple structure, rusted and weathered, standing silently in the shadows of the gas pumps, but Travis felt compelled to explore inside. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the cracked pavement. A gentle breeze stirred the dust, and the distant roar of passing trucks faded into a soft murmur, allowing the moment to breathe. With a deep breath, he reached for the rusted handle, the cold metal biting into his palm like a whisper from another time. As he pulled the door open, it let out a groan, as if awakening from a long slumber. Inside, the air was stale, thick with dust and the scent of faded memories. His heart raced with anticipation as he took a cautious step over the threshold. The dim light filtered through grime-covered windows, illuminating a clutter of old tools, empty soda cans, and beneath it all, a chalkboard that had seen better days. Scrawled on it in faint white chalk were dates, mile markers, and the names of small towns, symbols of a journey that had long since ended. Each mark felt like a breadcrumb leading him to something deeper. Beside the board lay a stack of postcards, their edges yellowed with age, each bearing the same handwritten message. "I arrived safely, Mom." The last one was postmarked from the week of the blackout that had swept through the region years ago. Travis's heart sank. He remembered that week vividly. It was when he'd lost his mother suddenly, and he had never been able to say goodbye. The words on the postcards echoed inside him, a haunting reminder of what could have been said, what was left unsaid. He took a step back, trying to ground himself in the present, but the weight of nostalgia pressed down like the summer heat. Travis could easily sell the postcards at the nearby antique shop, a quick way to make a few bucks and forget about the bittersweet weight they carried. But as he held them in his hands, a different thought flickered to life. He rummaged through his toolbox for a fresh envelope and a stamp, a small act of rebellion against the passage of time. Instead of burying the past, he would try to connect with it. The outside world faded away, leaving only the sound of his own breathing and the gentle rustle of the postcards in his grasp. Each one represented a moment, a voice, a connection to someone who once cared. He felt a spark of hope rising within him, a quiet determination to honor the past. This was more than just a relic. It was a chance to reach out, to bridge the gap between what was lost and what could still be found. Travis had always been a creature of habit, waking up to the soft buzz of his alarm clock nestled between a stack of unpaid bills and an old photograph of his mother smiling under a bright summer sun. Each morning, he'd shuffle into the bathroom, splash cold water on his face, and glance at himself in the mirror, where shadows of fatigue tugged at the corners of his eyes. At 27, the weight of loss bore down on him as heavily as the desert sun outside. He'd drive the old pickup truck he had inherited from his father, its engine grumbling to life like a beast waking from slumber. The truck stop, with its flickering neon sign, was a hub of activity along the I-40. It was a place where truckers stopped for coffee and conversation, where families would grab a bite before continuing their journeys, and where Travis felt the pulse of a world he was part of, yet somehow apart from. The diner inside the truck stop was a small, worn establishment with vinyl booths that had seen better days. Travis spent his shifts refilling coffee cups and chatting with customers, his hands working mechanically while his mind often drifted. He would watch families laughing, couples on their way to new adventures, and truckers telling stories of long hauls and strange encounters. Each interaction felt like a reminder of the connections he was missing, the conversations he wished he could have with his mother. Sometimes, when the diner emptied out, he would sit at the counter with a cup of lukewarm coffee, the jukebox humming softly in the background. It was during these moments that he would feel the most alone, the longing for something intangible gnawing at him. Memories of his mother would flood back, her laughter, her gentle voice urging him to be brave and to reach out to others. But the pain of loss kept him anchored like an anchor chain dragging through the mud. One quiet afternoon, He found himself staring blankly at the wall, lost in thought. The diner was unusually silent, the hum of the refrigerator the only noise breaking the stillness. He glanced at the clock, its hands moving slowly, as if time itself was reluctant to pass. In that moment of solitude, he felt the weight of his grief, an invisible shroud that wrapped around him tighter with each passing day. Then, the familiar crackle of the radio jolted him from his reverie. A song filled the diner, a melody that draped over him like a warm blanket. It was a tune his mother used to hum while cooking, the notes intertwined with memories of her laughter in the kitchen. For a brief moment he closed his eyes, imagining her standing there, the sweet aroma of baked goods wafting through the air. But just as quickly the spell broke and the reality of his solitude crashed over him once again. Days turned into weeks, and the postcards remained on his mind, their messages intoxicating in their simplicity. "I arrived safely, Mom." Each time he opened the drawer where he kept them hidden, he felt a tug at his heart, a reminder of the connection he desperately wanted to reclaim. The truck stop became a sanctuary where he could escape the weight of his grief, but with each passing day it also felt like a prison, keeping him locked away from the past he was trying to reconcile. He found himself returning to the trailer behind the gas pumps, drawn by a force he couldn't explain. Each visit revealed new layers to the story contained within that rusted shell, a forgotten world that resonated with his own. He touched the chalkboard, tracing the faded lines with his fingertips, imagining the lives of those who once traveled these roads. The postcards, too, weighed heavily on his soul, begging him to act. One evening after closing, Travis decided to take a leap of faith. He had made a list of the names on the postcards, piecing together a map of connections that spanned across the country. It was as if he was tracing an invisible thread connecting him to others who had experienced similar losses. The thought excited him. Perhaps there was a chance to reach out, to share the pain, the love, and the longing that burdened him. He spread the postcards across a booth in the diner, their yellowed edges glimmering under the dim light. Bits of grease and crumbs surrounded him, but all he could focus on were the names written on each card. He pulled out an old phone book from the manager's office and began to search for the surnames that danced across his memories, names that felt like echoes of lives lived just beyond his reach. Hours passed as he scribbled down addresses and gathered information, his heart racing with a mixture of hope and anxiety. Each name he discovered felt like a key unlocking a door to a world he had been too afraid to enter. He could hear his mother's voice in the back of his mind, urging him to take that step toward connection. The postcards became more than relics. They transformed into vessels of possibility. As he glued new stamps onto the postcards, he could almost hear his mother's voice, urging him to reach out, to connect, to mend what had been broken. The act felt cathartic, a tangible way to honor her memory. When he finally went to the manager to ask if he could use the mail, he felt a heat rising in his chest. Maybe they'll reach them, he thought as he handed them over, unsure if he was sending letters or simply chasing shadows. The night air was cool as he stepped outside, the stars twinkling above like distant hopes. He felt lighter, as if the burden he had carried for so long was beginning to lift, replaced by a flicker of anticipation. Days passed and Travis continued working at the truck stop, but he couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted within him. Each time a truck pulled up for fuel, he'd glance at the horizon, wondering if the postcards had made their way. Would someone read those words? Would they resonate with the intended receiver? One afternoon, as he wiped down the counter at the diner, the radio crackled to life once more. The same familiar tune played, and suddenly, the memory of his mother's laughter washed over him. It was a song she used to hum while cooking, a melody he thought he had forgotten. In that moment, he realized that though he may never hear her voice again, he could still honor her memory through his actions. His routine continued, threading together days filled with the mundane, cleaning tables, refilling coffee, exchanging pleasantries with truck drivers and travelers. But there was an undercurrent of anticipation now, a sense that change was on the horizon. Each day, as he served coffee or cleaned tables, he felt the invisible threads of connection weaving through him, binding him to the people who frequented the diner. It was comforting and terrifying all at once. Travis often found himself observing the people around him, how a woman's eyes would light up when she saw her partner walk through the door, or how a weary truck driver would share stories of the road over a slice of pie. He craved those connections, yet felt paralyzed by the memory of his mother's absence. Would he ever feel that kind of joy again? Then, one evening, just as the sun dipped below the mesas, a truck rolled in. It was a large rig, its engine rumbling deep as it pulled up to the fuel pumps. The headlights cut through the twilight, illuminating the diner's sign, casting flickers of light across the gravel parking lot. Travis wiped his hands on a towel and stepped outside, feeling a strange pull. A woman stepped out from the cab, her face lighting up as she scanned the parking lot. Travis felt an inexplicable connection, as if the universe had conspired to bring them together. She approached, her expression shifting from curiosity to shock as she recognized him. "I got your postcards," she said, voice trembling. "They were from my brother." Her words hit him like a gust of wind, and he felt the ground beneath him shift. In that moment, the weight of the past didn't feel so heavy anymore. He had taken a risk, sent out those cards, and in return, he had found a connection, one that reminded him that some journeys don't end, but rather take unexpected turns. Travis stood speechless, taking in the woman's face, the way her eyes sparkled with emotion. She was familiar, yet he couldn't place her. There was something in the way she held herself, a blend of strength and vulnerability that drew him in. "Your brother," he managed to say, feeling the air thicken with unspoken words. She nodded, her expression softening. He passed away a few years ago. I didn't even know he'd sent those cards." Her gaze shifted to the ground as if the weight of her words burdened her. "I found them after he died. I never got to tell him how much I loved him." A silence enveloped them, filled with the echoes of their shared losses. Travis felt a kinship with this stranger, both of them navigating the turbulent waters of grief. "I lost my mother," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "I never got to say goodbye." The woman looked up, her eyes glistening. "It hurts, doesn't it? The things left unsaid." He nodded, emotions swirling within him like a storm. Here they were, two souls bound by the threads of loss, standing in the fading light of day. "I thought maybe sending those postcards would help," he confessed, his heart racing. "I just wanted to reach out, to connect." "Your gesture was beautiful," she replied, her voice steady but soft. "It's hard to find ways to remember, to keep those we love alive in our hearts." The sun dipped lower, casting a warm glow over the parking lot, and in that moment the shadows that had haunted them both felt a little less daunting. "I'm Travis," he said, extending a hand toward her. "Ella," she replied, shaking his hand, her grip firm. "Thank you for reaching out." They stood there for a moment longer, lingering in the shared understanding of their grief. Travis felt a warmth spreading through him, an ember of hope igniting in the depths of his heart. Perhaps this connection was a new beginning, a chance to forge a bond that could transform their pain into something meaningful. As they shared stories, the sun sank beneath the horizon, leaving only a sliver of light. They talked about their families, their dreams, and the ways they had tried to cope with the void left by their loved ones. Laughter emerged between the shared tears, a balm for their wounds. In the weeks that followed, Travis and Ella began to meet regularly at the truck stop, each encounter weaving their stories together. They would sit in the diner, surrounded by the hum of conversation and the smell of coffee, sharing memories of their loved ones. Ella brought photos of her brother, the snapshots capturing moments of joy that felt like flickering beacons in the dark. One evening, as they reviewed the cards that had been sent, Ella revealed that her brother had kept a journal filled with his thoughts and dreams. He always wanted to travel, to see the world, she shared, her voice tinged with nostalgia. But life got in the way. Travis listened intently, feeling the weight of her words resonate within him. Inspired, he suggested, "What if we honor them by taking that journey your brother dreamed of? We could visit some of the places mentioned in those postcards." Ella's eyes widened in surprise, a mix of excitement and apprehension playing across her face. "You really think we could do that?" "Why not?" he replied, a grin spreading across his face. "It's a way to celebrate their lives, to keep their memories alive while discovering our own paths." And so, with a shared determination, Travis and Ella began to plan their journey. They pored over maps, marking destinations, and discussing the stories behind each postcard. The process felt exhilarating, a chance to step outside the confines of their grief and embark on an adventure that honored their loved ones. As they stood in the trailer behind the truck stop one last time, preparing to leave, Travis felt a sense of closure and readiness. The old chalkboard, once a relic of forgotten journeys, now served as a reminder of the paths they had chosen. The postcards lay scattered on the dusty floor, symbols of connections made and connections yet to come. With the sun rising on a new day, Travis and Ella piled into his pickup truck, a sense of excitement buzzing in the air. The road stretched ahead, promising adventures and new stories waiting to unfold, as they embraced the unknown together, a testament to the power of reaching out and the beauty of human connection. And you? Have you ever found yourself on a journey that transformed your understanding of love and loss? Sometimes the roads we take lead us to unexpected places, revealing the strength we didn't know we had. The echoes of life persist. We just need to listen. The engine of Travis's old pickup truck roared to life, its familiar rumble filling the air as he looked over at Ella, who was busy scrolling through her phone, her brows furrowed in concentration. The sun had just broken over the horizon, casting a golden hue across the New Mexico landscape, and with it came a sense of promise that filled the cab with warmth. "First stop?" he asked, glancing at the map spread across his lap. It was tattered, dotted with handwritten notes and highlighted routes that traced their journey like the veins of a leaf. Ella looked up, her face lighting up with enthusiasm. "How about that little diner in Santa Rosa, the one my brother mentioned in his journal? He always wanted to stop there because of the Route 66 memorabilia." Travis nodded, a smile creeping across his face. As they drove onto the highway, the truck's tires hummed against the asphalt, mirroring the excitement buzzing in the air. The landscape unfolded around them, vast stretches of desert, mesas rising like ancient sentinels against the sky, and the occasional tumbleweed rolling across the road. As they cruised along the highway, the radio played softly in the background, a mix of classic rock and country tunes that blended seamlessly with the scenery. Travis felt a sense of freedom he hadn't experienced in years. Each passing mile was a reminder that they were embarking on a journey filled with new possibilities, healing, and connection. "Do you think we'll meet anyone interesting at the diner?" Ella asked, breaking the peaceful silence. Travis shrugged playfully. "You never know. This is Route 66. It's known for its characters." Laughter filled the truck as they drove on, the anticipation building with each mile. The closer they got to Santa Rosa, the more Travis felt the weight of his past lifting. Memories of his mother flooded his mind, their road trips, the way she would lean against the window, her hair dancing in the wind, laughing at his silly jokes. Every memory was a bittersweet reminder of what he had lost, but now, with Ella beside him, he also felt the first hints of healing. As they pulled into Santa Rosa, the diner came into view. A charming vintage establishment adorned with neon lights and classic Route 66 decor. The smell of fresh coffee wafted through the air as they stepped inside, greeted by the sound of laughter and clinking dishes. The interior was an explosion of color, filled with memorabilia from the golden age of Americana. Travis felt as if they had stepped back in time. Posters of classic cars adorned the walls, and old photographs of travelers lined the shelves, each telling a story. They found a booth in the corner, and as they settled in, the friendly waitress approached them. "What can I get you two lovebirds?" she asked, a twinkle in her eye. Ella burst into laughter while Travis felt his cheeks flush. "Just coffee for now, please," he replied, trying to play it cool. But inside he felt a warmth spreading through him, an unexpected joy to be experiencing this moment with someone who understood him. As they waited for their drinks, they took turns sharing stories. Ella spoke about her brother's dreams of traveling across the country, how he always had a map laid out on the kitchen table, plotting routes and destinations. He had this wild idea that he wanted to visit every state at least once, she said, her eyes sparkling with nostalgic joy. Travis smiled, recalling how his mother had similar dreams. "I remember my mom wanted to take a trip to all the national parks. She had this big, beautiful book filled with pictures and stories about each one." The waitress returned with their steaming mugs and they both took a sip. "Ah, that's good coffee," Travis said, savoring the rich flavor. "Let's raise our mugs," Ella suggested, lifting her cup. "To our families and their dreams." "To our families and their dreams," Travis echoed, clinking his cup against hers. They spent the next hour immersed in conversation, sharing memories and laughter, the weight of their grief slowly dissipating with each story told. The diner buzzed around them, but in their little corner it felt like they were in their own world. After finishing their coffee, they decided to explore Santa Rosa a bit more. They wandered through the town, stopping to take pictures by the famous Blue Hole, a natural swimming hole that sparkled in the sunlight. They laughed as they posed for silly pictures, each click of the camera capturing the growing bond between them. As they walked, Travis noticed a small antique shop down the street. "Want to check that out?" he asked, pointing to the quaint storefront. "Absolutely," Ella replied, her eyes lighting up. Inside the shop was a treasure trove of oddities, a mix of vintage trinkets, dusty books, and forgotten relics. Travis wandered through the aisles, picking up various items, each one evoking memories of the past. Ella was drawn to an old typewriter, its keys worn down but still functional. "Imagine the stories this thing has typed," she mused, running her fingers over the keys. "Maybe we should write one," Travis suggested, a playful grin on his face. As they explored the shop, Ella picked up an old postcard, its colors faded but still vibrant. "Look at this," she said, displaying it to him. It depicted a scenic view of the Grand Canyon, its vastness stretching out before the viewer. "Should we add this to our collection?" Travis considered it for a moment. "Definitely. It's a perfect reminder of where we're going. Plus, we can write a message on the back to our families." They purchased the postcard, and as they left the shop, Travis felt a sense of warmth and connection. The journey together was becoming more than just a road trip. It was a celebration of their pasts while forging something new and beautiful. Back in the truck, Travis put the postcard in the glove compartment alongside the other postcards they had collected. "Next stop, the Grand Canyon?" he asked, starting the engine. "Absolutely," Ella replied, her enthusiasm infectious. As they drove, the scenery began to shift. The flat plains of New Mexico gave way to rolling hills and expansive skies that seemed to stretch on forever. The air changed, filled with a crispness that made them both feel alive. The conversation flowed easily, punctuated by moments of comfortable silence where they could simply enjoy the beauty of the landscape. Travis felt a sense of peace settle over him, a feeling he hadn't experienced in a long time. When they finally arrived at the Grand Canyon, Travis parked the truck and they both stepped out, awestruck by the breathtaking view before them. The vast expanse of the canyon stretched endlessly, colors shifting from deep reds to vibrant oranges as the sun began to set. "Wow," Ella breathed, taking in the sight. "It's even more beautiful than I imagined." Travis nodded, feeling a lump rise in his throat. "I never thought I'd get to see this with someone who understands." They walked to the edge, standing in silence as the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the canyon. The beauty was overwhelming, stirring emotions that surged within Travis. This was the moment he had yearned for, a moment of connection, of shared experience. Ella turned to him, her expression softening. I'm really glad we did this, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Me too, Travis replied, his heart swelling with gratitude. It feels like we're honoring their memories by being here together. As the last rays of sunlight disappeared, painting the sky in hues of purple and gold, they felt a sense of calm wash over them. They sat on a rock, side by side, each lost in their thoughts. Do you think they're watching us? Ella asked suddenly, breaking the silence. Travis considered her question, the weight of it settling in his heart. I'd like to think so. I think they'd be proud of us for living our lives and experiencing new things even after they're gone. Ella smiled softly, her eyes shimmering in the fading light. Yeah, I think they would. As darkness enveloped the canyon, they both felt a sense of closure. The journey thus far had transformed not only their understanding of loss, but also their appreciation for the present moment. With night falling, they decided to head back to the truck, but Travis felt a compulsion to record the moment. Let's write a note on the postcard we found earlier, he suggested. Ella nodded and they pulled out the postcard, the blank back waiting to be filled. Travis took a pen from his pocket and began to write, the words flowing easily as he captured their shared experience. To our families, he wrote, who have shaped us into who we are today. We miss you deeply, but are carrying your love with us on this journey. This adventure is for you. He handed the postcard to Ella, who added her own thoughts. We promise to keep exploring, to keep dreaming, and to honor your memories in every step we take. They both signed the postcard, and just as they were about to seal it, a soft breeze rustled through the canyon, as if the universe itself was acknowledging their words. They looked at each other, a shared understanding passing between them. This journey was about more than just the destinations. It was about the connections they were forging and the love that still lingered in the spaces left behind. As they stepped back into the truck, Travis felt a warmth surrounding him, a blend of nostalgia and hope. The road ahead stretched out like a promise, and he knew that no matter where the journey took them, they would face it together. The next morning, they started their day early, the sun slowly rising above the horizon, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange. They sipped coffee outside the truck, breathing in the cool, crisp air. What's next? Ella asked, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Let's head toward Flagstaff. I've heard there are some beautiful trails and scenic views along the way, Travis suggested. Ella grinned. Sounds perfect. I packed some snacks for the drive, she replied, reaching into her bag. She pulled out granola bars and a few apples, laying them out on the truck's hood. We'll need the energy for exploring. As they drove, the landscape continued to shift, revealing stunning views of pine forests and mountains in the distance. They took turns at the wheel, sharing playlists filled with songs that evoked memories and dreams. At one point, Travis pulled over to the side of the road to take a picture of the stunning view. Can you believe this? He exclaimed, capturing the moment with his camera. Ella stood beside him, a smile on her face. It's incredible. I can't believe we're actually doing this. Neither can I, he admitted, glancing at her. I never would have thought that I'd find someone like you on this journey, someone who understands the weight of loss and the importance of connection. She looked at him, her expression serious. I feel the same way. This trip has already changed my perspective so much. As they continued down the highway, they shared stories of their childhoods, their dreams for the future, and the lessons they had learned through their losses. Each tale brought them closer together, building a bond that felt unbreakable. When they reached Flagstaff, they decided to explore the area a bit. After checking into a cozy bed and breakfast, they set out to hike one of the nearby trails. The air was cool and the scent of pine trees filled their lungs as they walked side by side. The trail wound through the forest, sunlight filtering through the trees, casting dappled shadows on the ground. They talked and laughed, the sound of their voices mingling with the rustle of leaves and the songs of birds. This is unbelievable, Ella said, looking up at the towering pines. It feels like we're in a different world. Travis nodded, feeling a profound sense of gratitude. It does. I think nature has a way of reminding us of our place in the world, don't you? Ella stopped to take a deep breath, the fresh air invigorating her. Absolutely. It makes me appreciate the simple things, like this moment with you. They continued along the trail, stopping occasionally to take pictures and admire the breathtaking views. As they reached a lookout point that overlooked the valley, Travis felt a surge of emotion welling up inside him. "Here, take a look at this," he said, motioning for Ella to join him at the edge. The view was stunning, a vast expanse of greenery dotted with wildflowers, stretching as far as the eye could see. "It's gorgeous," she breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. "It is," Travis replied, his heart racing. "And you know what? I want to remember this moment forever." He pulled out his phone, took a picture of them standing together at the lookout, and then turned to her. "Do you mind if I make a little video?" "Go for it," Ella said, her excitement palpable. Travis switched to video mode and held the camera up, capturing the moment. "Hey everyone, this is Travis, and I'm here with Ella at this amazing lookout in Flagstaff. We're on a journey to honor our families and create new memories, and right now we're feeling grateful. Just wanted to share this beautiful moment with all of you." He paused to smile at Ella, who beamed back at him. "Okay, now your turn," he said, handing her the camera. Ella took it and pointed it at Travis. "Hey everyone, I'm Ella and I'm so glad to be part of this journey. It's been eye-opening, and I can't wait to see where it leads us next." They both laughed, feeling the joy of the moment. Travis couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement building within him. This trip was more than just a way to remember their families. It was a way to rediscover themselves and explore what lay ahead. After their hike, they returned to the bed and breakfast, where they shared a delicious homemade dinner with other guests. The atmosphere was warm and inviting, filled with laughter and stories from fellow travelers. Travis and Ella found themselves immersed in conversation with a couple from Texas who were also on a road trip. As they shared their experiences, Travis felt a sense of camaraderie with them, a reminder that everyone had their own stories and struggles. Later that evening, as they sat on the porch under a blanket of stars, Ella turned to Travis. "You know, I've never felt this free before," she confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. "I feel like I can breathe again." Travis nodded, understanding the weight of her words. "Me too. It's like we're shedding the past and allowing ourselves to be open to new experiences." She smiled softly, and in that moment, Travis felt a connection deepen between them, a bond forged through shared grief, laughter, and the realization that they were not alone in their journeys. As they gazed up at the stars, Travis felt a sense of peace wash over him. He knew that while the road ahead might still be filled with uncertainty, he had Ella by his side, and together they would navigate the twists and turns. The next morning they set out for their next destination, the stunning Sedona, known for its red rock formations and spiritual energy. The drive was filled with anticipation, and as they entered the town, Travis felt a sense of wonder wash over him. "Look at that," Ella exclaimed, pointing to a towering red rock formation that loomed in the distance. "Unbelievable," Travis replied, his eyes wide with awe. "Let's go explore." They parked the truck and set out on foot, hiking a popular trail that led them through the breathtaking landscape. The red rocks seemed to glow in the sunlight, and the air was filled with a sense of tranquility. As they walked, they encountered a group of artists painting the scenery, capturing the beauty of the landscape on canvas. Inspired, Travis suggested they take some time to do their own sketches. "Great idea," Ella agreed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. They found a quiet spot on a rocky outcrop where they could sit and sketch. Travis pulled out a notebook while Ella grabbed a sketch pad from her bag. "I'm not an artist," Travis admitted, a hint of embarrassment in his voice. "But I'll give it a shot." Ella laughed softly. "Neither am I, but it's about capturing the moment, not creating a masterpiece." As they sketched, they shared their thoughts on the landscape, the colors, the shapes, and the emotions it evoked. The sun rose higher in the sky, illuminating the red rocks and casting playful shadows across the ground. After a while, they swapped drawings, and laughter rang out as they admired each other's work, both clearly delighted by the imperfections that made their creations uniquely theirs. "This is a beautiful memory," Ella said, glancing at Travis. "Thank you for encouraging me to try new things." Travis smiled, feeling a sense of pride. "I think we're both pushing each other to embrace life and explore what it has to offer." As the day continued, they explored more of Sedona, visiting art galleries and shops filled with handcrafted goods. They met local artisans who shared their stories and passion for their craft, further deepening their appreciation for the community. By the time they returned to the truck, Travis felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. This journey was not just about honoring their families. It was about living fully in the present, creating memories that would last a lifetime. As they drove away from Sedona, Travis felt a shift within himself. The grief that had once weighed him down began to feel lighter, replaced by hope and the promise of new beginnings. "Where to next?" Ella asked, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "Let's head to the Grand Canyon again for sunset," he replied, feeling a surge of excitement. "I want to capture more moments with you." "Perfect," she exclaimed. They arrived just in time to watch the sun dip below the horizon, painting the sky in vibrant shades of orange and pink. This time, they found a different spot to take in the view, one that felt more intimate and secluded. As they stood together, Travis felt the weight of the world lifting. "Thank you for being here with me, Ella," he said, his voice sincere. "I don't think I would have had the courage to do this without you." Ella turned to him, her gaze unwavering. "We're both in this together. I couldn't have imagined a better journey." As the sun vanished from sight, they stood hand in hand, watching as the stars began to twinkle above. The night sky enveloped them, and they felt a profound sense of peace. A reminder that while the past would always be a part of them, the future held endless possibilities. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, Travis and Ella sat in silence, absorbing the beauty of the sunset cast across the Grand Canyon. The vibrant colors stretched across the sky like brushstrokes on a canvas, swirling reds, oranges, and purples blending together in a breathtaking display. The air was cool and crisp, filled with the scent of pine and earth, a reminder of the journey they had embarked upon together. "Remember when we first got here?" Travis asked, breaking the silence. "I was so nervous about everything, and now look at us." Ella chuckled softly. "I know. It's incredible how much has changed in such a short time. I never expected this trip to mean so much to me." Travis turned to her, his heart swelling with emotion. "Me neither. I thought I was just running away from my grief, but instead I found something I didn't even know I was searching for." Ella nodded, her gaze fixed on the brilliant colors fading in the sky. "It's like we've been given a second chance to explore not just the world around us, but ourselves as well." Their conversation flowed easily, a blend of shared experiences and the laughter that came with discovering new things about each other. Travis felt a warmth growing between them, a bond forged in the fires of loss but strengthened by their shared journey. As the last rays of sunlight disappeared, they pulled out their phones, eager to capture the moment. "Let's take a selfie," Ella suggested, her excitement palpable. Travis agreed, positioning the camera so they could both fit in the frame, the stunning canyon backdrop behind them. "Say, adventure," he called out. "Adventure," they both shouted, and the click of the camera captured their smiles, the joy radiating from them in that moment. Travis knew he would cherish this picture, a reminder of how far they had come together. With darkness settling in, they began to pack up their belongings and make their way back to the truck. The stars twinkled above, illuminating the path ahead like tiny beacons guiding them forward. "Do you know what I love most about this journey?" Ella asked, her voice thoughtful. "What's that?" Travis replied, genuinely curious. "I love how every place we visit feels like a chapter in a book," she said, her eyes glimmering. "Each stop is a new experience, a new story waiting to unfold." Travis smiled, appreciating her perspective. That's a beautiful way to think about it, and each chapter is filled with moments that shape who we are. As they drove back toward Williams, the truck's headlights cut through the darkness, illuminating the road ahead. They talked about their plans for the next leg of the journey, what they wanted to see and do, the dreams they held close to their hearts. "I've always wanted to see the Pacific Ocean," Ella said, her excitement infectious. "I've never been to California, but I've heard it's breathtaking." "Let's do it," Travis replied, feeling a thrill of adventure. "Let's drive to the coast and dip our toes in the ocean." Ella clapped her hands, her grin widening. "I can't wait. It'll be an incredible way to close out this trip." As they pulled into the small town of Williams, they decided to stop for a late dinner at a cozy diner that had caught their eye. The neon sign flickered above, beckoning them inside, and they stepped into a warm, inviting atmosphere filled with the aroma of home-cooked meals. They settled into a booth, and the waitress approached with a friendly smile. "What can I get you two? We have a special on burgers tonight." "2 burgers and a couple of sodas, please," Ella replied enthusiastically. After placing their orders, they delved into conversation about their dreams for the future. Travis shared his desire to find a career that ignited his passion, one that allowed him to travel and connect with people. "I want to help others heal their wounds, just like I'm learning to heal mine," he said earnestly. Ella listened intently, her expression supportive. "You have such a big heart, Travis. I can see you doing something amazing. You've already helped me so much just by being here." Their food arrived, and they dug in, savoring every bite of the delicious burgers. As they ate, they exchanged stories about their families, sharing laughter and memories that felt like threads weaving them closer together. "I remember my dad always trying to make the best burgers at family barbecues," Ella said, a hint of nostalgia in her voice. "He would take it so seriously, making sure each patty was perfectly seasoned." Travis chuckled. "My mom was the same way with her chili. She had her secret recipe that she would never share. I think she enjoyed the mystery of it too much." "Maybe we should create our own secret recipe for burgers one day," Ella suggested, her eyes sparkling. "We could have our own cook-off." "I'm in," he laughed, imagining the playful competition ahead. Once they finished their meal, Travis paid the bill and they stepped outside, the cool night air refreshing against their skin. "Where to next?" he asked, feeling the excitement of the night pulse through him. "Let's go find a place to stargaze," Ella exclaimed. "I want to see the constellations and share some stories about them." Travis grinned, thoroughly enjoying her enthusiasm. They drove a short distance out of town until they found a quiet spot away from the lights, the stars shining brightly above them like diamonds scattered across a velvet blanket. They settled on a grassy knoll, lying back and gazing at the vast expanse of the night sky. "Look at that!" Ella pointed, her voice filled with awe. "That's Orion!" Travis looked up, recognizing the constellation. "You're right. I remember my mom telling me stories about the constellations when I was a kid." As they pointed out different constellations, they began to share stories tied to each one, weaving a tapestry of memories and dreams. The night felt magical, a moment frozen in time where the universe seemed to celebrate their journey. "I've always believed that the stars hold our dreams," Ella mused, her voice soft. "They remind us that even in the darkness, there's beauty and light to be found." "I love that perspective," Travis replied, feeling a sense of comfort in her words. It resonated with his own journey to find light amidst the shadows of his past. After spending what felt like hours under the stars, they finally pulled themselves up from the grass, reluctant but aware that they needed to head back. "I could do this all night," Ella said, her eyes reflecting the starlight. "Me too," Travis replied. "But we have more adventures ahead. Who knows what tomorrow will bring?" As they returned to the truck, Travis felt a sense of excitement bubbling within him. Every moment spent with Ella was a reminder of the healing that was taking place in his heart. Together, they were discovering not only the beauty of the world, but also the strength within themselves. The next morning they set out early, eager to continue their journey toward California. The open road stretched out before them, a ribbon of possibility leading them to new and unexplored destinations. As they drove, they listened to music, sang along to their favorite songs, and made spontaneous stops along the way. They visited quirky roadside attractions and sampled local snacks, relishing the unexpected joys that came with being on the road. Travis felt a sense of freedom he hadn't experienced in years. Every mile brought them closer to the ocean, and he could feel the excitement building within him. He glanced over at Ella, who was humming to the music, her hair blowing in the wind, and he couldn't help but smile. "Are you ready for the Pacific?" he asked, his voice brimming with enthusiasm. "Absolutely," she replied, her eyes shining with anticipation. "I can't wait to feel the waves." As they continued their journey, Travis couldn't shake the feeling that this trip was more than just a healing process. It was a transformative experience, one that taught him to embrace life, love, and connection once more. And as they drove toward the horizon, he felt grateful for every moment they shared, knowing that together they were forging a new path, one filled with hope, adventure, and the unwavering strength of their bond. With the sun setting behind them, they looked toward the future, ready to face whatever came next with open hearts and eager spirits. Together, they would continue to explore the beauty of the world and the depth of their connection, one adventure at a time. The excitement in the air was palpable as Travis and Ella drove toward California, the sun rising higher in the sky and casting a warm glow over the landscape. The open road ahead seemed to beckon them forward, promising new adventures and experiences. "I can't believe we're finally going to see the Pacific Ocean," Ella said, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. "It feels like a dream." "Just wait until you feel the sand beneath your toes," Travis replied, a smile spreading across his face. "And the sound of the waves crashing, there's nothing like it." The miles flew by as they drove, the rhythm of the road soothing and invigorating at the same time. They listened to music, taking turns picking songs that resonated with their moods, singing along with laughter and joy. The world outside the truck transformed from arid desert to lush forests, and eventually to coastal views that took their breath away. As they neared the beach, Travis could feel the tension of the past weeks begin to melt away. The horizon stretched endlessly before him, and he realized how much he had needed this journey, not only to honor his mother, but to find a renewed sense of purpose and connection. "Are we almost there?" Ella asked, peering out the window, her excitement infectious. "Just a few more turns," Travis replied, glancing at the map on his phone and then back at the road. The anticipation in the air was thick, each second stretching out as they closed in on the ocean. Finally, as they rounded a bend, the landscape opened up and the shimmering blue expanse of the Pacific came into view. Travis felt his heart race as he parked the truck, both of them scrambling out and rushing toward the water. Ella was the first to reach the edge, her laughter ringing out as she twirled in the sand, her arms outstretched. "We made it!" Travis couldn't help but join her, his spirit buoyed by the happiness exuding from her. "This is incredible," he shouted, running to catch up with her. The sound of the waves crashing against the shore filled the air, a beautiful symphony that resonated deep within him. With each step closer to the water, the salty breeze whipped through their hair, invigorating and refreshing. Ella squealed in delight as she dipped her toes into the cool water, splashing playfully. "It's cold," she exclaimed, laughing. "Come on, it'll be worth it," Travis encouraged, stepping into the surf. The cool water sent a shiver up his spine, but he welcomed it, feeling fully alive as he waded deeper. They both laughed as they jumped over small waves, the ocean pulling back and forth like a dance. Travis felt a rush of freedom, a sense of joy that washed over him like the tide. For the first time in a long while, he felt truly present, alive in this moment with Ella beside him. After a while, they found a quiet spot on the beach to lay down their towels. Ella took a deep breath, looking out at the vastness of the ocean. "I could stay here forever," she said, her voice filled with wonder. "Me too," Travis replied, lying back and soaking in the sun. The warmth enveloped him, and he closed his eyes, listening to the rhythm of the waves, letting the sound fill his mind, a soothing balm for his soul. As they basked in the sun, they shared their hopes and dreams for the future. Travis opened up about his desire to help others, to create a life that honored his past while embracing new experiences. Ella shared her dreams of traveling the world, exploring cultures, and making a difference through her art. "I want to create pieces that tell stories," she said, her passion evident in her voice. "Art has a way of connecting people, and I want to be part of that." "I can see you doing that," Travis encouraged. "Your creativity is so inspiring, and I think you'll touch a lot of lives with your work." Ella smiled, her eyes shining. "Just like you will with yours." After a while, they decided to explore the beach, collecting seashells and taking photos. Ella bent down to pick up a particularly beautiful shell, holding it up to the sunlight. "Look at this one. It's perfect." "Let's create a memory jar," Travis suggested, envisioning a collection of items from their journey. "We can fill it with mementos from each place we visit." "I love that idea," Ella agreed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "This shell will definitely go in it." They continued to roam, collecting small treasures, smooth stones, colorful shells, and bits of driftwood. Each item carried a story, and with every find, they filled their hearts with new memories. As the sun began to dip toward the horizon, casting a golden glow over the ocean, they set up a spot to watch the sunset. Ella took out her phone to capture the moment, and in that instant, Travis felt a rush of gratitude for the journey they had shared. "Can you believe how far we've come?" he asked, looking over at Ella. She smiled, her gaze fixed on the fading sunlight. "It feels like we've been on this adventure for a lifetime. I've learned so much about myself, and I couldn't have done it without you." "I feel the same way," Travis replied, his voice sincere. "You've helped me find joy again, and I can't thank you enough." Ella turned to him, her expression softening. "We're in this together, remember? We're healing and growing side by side." As the sun sank below the horizon, painting the sky in vibrant shades of orange and pink, they both felt a deep sense of peace settle over them. In that moment, they realized that their journey was about more than just the places they visited. It was about the connection they had forged, a bond that would last a lifetime. With the sun finally gone, they walked back to the truck, hand in hand, feeling the warmth of the sand beneath their feet. "What do you want to do next?" Travis asked, glancing at her. "I want to find a place to watch the stars," Ella replied, her eyes sparkling. "There's something magical about being under the night sky, especially after such a beautiful day." Travis smiled, his heart swelling with affection. "Let's do it. I know just the spot." They drove a short distance inland to a quiet area that offered a clear view of the sky. As they got out of the truck, the vastness of the universe unfolded before them. Stars twinkled like diamonds, and the Milky Way stretched across the expanse, a breathtaking sight that left them both in awe. "This is incredible," Ella whispered, her voice reverent. Travis set a blanket on the ground and they lay back side by side, gazing up at the night sky. "Can you see that cluster of stars?" he said, pointing. "That's where my mom always said her favorite star was." Ella turned to him, her eyes filled with understanding. "It's like they're watching over us," she said softly. "Yeah," Travis replied, feeling a profound sense of connection to the universe. "It's comforting to think that they're still with us in some way." They spent hours lying there, sharing their hopes, dreams, and fears as they looked up at the stars. The world around them faded away, and in that moment, it felt just like the two of them and the infinite sky. "Thank you for being part of this journey, Ella," Travis said finally, his voice serious. "I don't think I would have had the courage to do this without you." Ella turned to him, her expression warm and sincere. "And I wouldn't have found my way here without you either. We're stronger together." As they continued to gaze at the stars, Travis felt a sense of hope blooming in his heart. Their journey had transformed him, allowing him to embrace life again and find beauty in the world. With Ella by his side, he knew that they could face whatever challenges lay ahead. And so, under the blanket of stars, they talked and laughed, weaving the stories of their lives into a tapestry of hope and possibility. A beautiful reminder that even in the midst of loss, life could still bloom anew. As the night wore on, they knew that their connection would continue to grow, guiding them on their journey and encouraging them to embrace the adventures that awaited them. The morning sun rose over the horizon, casting a warm glow across the landscape as Travis and Ella stirred awake on their blanket beneath the stars. They packed their belongings, a sense of contentment wrapping around them like a warm embrace. "Good morning, stargazer," Travis said, nudging Ella playfully as she yawned and stretched. "Good morning," she replied, her smile brightening the dawn. "I could have stayed out there all night. It felt magical." After a quick breakfast of granola bars and coffee brewed on a portable stove, they jumped back into the truck, feeling the excitement of the day ahead. They would explore the coastline and visit iconic surf towns in California. As they drove along the Pacific Coast Highway, the ocean sparkled beside them while rugged cliffs rose dramatically on the other side. Each twist and turn revealed breathtaking views. They took turns pointing out picturesque spots and stopping for photos. "Look at that!" Ella exclaimed, pointing to a rocky outcropping where waves crashed against the cliffs. "Let's go check it out." Travis quickly pulled over, and they hopped out of the truck, exhilarated by the sound of crashing waves. Carefully navigating the rocky beach, the salty breeze whipped around them. "Feel that?" Ella said, closing her eyes and taking a deep breath. "The ocean air, it's invigorating." "It's like a reset button," Travis agreed, enjoying the moment. As they explored the tide pools, they marveled at the vibrant marine life. Colorful starfish clung to rocks and tiny crabs scuttled over the sand. Ella picked up a particularly vibrant starfish, holding it up for Travis to see. "That's incredible. Nature is so beautiful," he replied, sharing her wonder. After exploring, they sat on a rock, gazing out at the ocean. "Do you ever wonder what it would be like to live near the ocean?" Ella asked. "Absolutely," Travis replied. "It would feel freeing waking up to the sound of the waves every day. But I wonder about the life I'd leave behind." Ella nodded thoughtfully. "It's a balance, isn't it? The pull of adventure and the longing for roots." "Yeah," Travis said. "This journey has shown me that it's possible to embrace both, carry my memories while still embracing new experiences." As they continued to talk about their dreams, they considered their next steps after this adventure. "I've been thinking about taking art classes when I get back," Ella said, her voice filled with excitement. "I want to explore more mediums and techniques." "I think that's an amazing idea," Travis encouraged. "You should definitely go for it. You have the talent." "What about you? What's next for you after this?" she asked. Travis hesitated. "I want to find a job that allows me to help others. Maybe something in counseling or community work." "I can see you doing that," Ella said confidently. "You've helped me so much just by being here." Feeling encouraged, Travis smiled. "Thanks, Ella. Your support means everything." Once they felt rejuvenated, they decided to continue their journey along the coast. They moved on to another beach, known for its stunning cliffs and surf culture. The sound of laughter and distant music filled the air, creating a light-hearted atmosphere. "Let's rent some bikes and cruise along the beach path," Ella suggested, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Great idea," Travis agreed, thrilled to explore the area in a new way. They rented bikes and set off, the ocean breeze cooling their skin as they pedaled side by side. They rode past surfers catching waves and families building sandcastles, laughter echoing around them. "This is so much fun," Ella exclaimed, her joy contagious. "Absolutely. I can't remember the last time I felt this carefree," Travis replied. After returning the bikes, they wandered down to the shoreline, feeling the soft sand beneath their feet. "Let's take a walk along the water," Ella suggested, As they strolled, they talked about their dreams, collecting seashells and small stones along the way. The ocean waves lapped at their feet while the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the beach. "Can you believe how far we've come?" Travis asked, as they paused to admire the view. "It feels like we've been on this adventure forever," Ella replied, her gaze fixed on the fading sunlight. "I never imagined I would find someone who understood my journey like you do," he said, gratitude swelling in his chest. Ella looked at him, sincerity in her eyes. "I'm so glad we're experiencing this together. It means everything." As the last light of day faded, they walked back to the truck hand in hand, feeling the warmth of the sand beneath their feet. "What do you want to do next?" Travis asked. "I want to find a place to watch the stars again," Ella replied, her excitement palpable. "Let's do it," he said, smiling as his heart swelled with affection for her. As they drove to a nearby spot away from the lights, the night sky opened up, stars twinkling like diamonds. They laid back on a blanket, gazing up at the vast expanse, feeling the magic of the universe surrounding them. "Thank you for this journey, Ella," Travis said, his voice sincere. "I don't think I would have had the courage to do this without you. And I wouldn't have found my way here without you," she replied. "We're stronger together." Under the blanket of stars, they reveled in the joy of the moment, knowing their connection would continue to guide them on their journey and encourage them to embrace all the adventures that awaited them. As the stars twinkled overhead, Travis and Ella lay side by side on their blanket, taking in the vast expanse of the night sky. The soft sounds of the waves crashing nearby created a calming backdrop, and for a moment the world felt perfect. "Have you ever thought about what you'd tell your family about this trip?" Ella asked, breaking the serene silence. Travis turned his head to look at her. "I think I'd tell them it was about more than just the places we visited. It was about healing, about rediscovering joy in life." Ella nodded thoughtfully. "I feel the same way. I want to share how I found inspiration in every little thing, how the world feels bigger and brighter now." "Exactly," Travis replied. "It's like this journey helped us find parts of ourselves that we thought were lost." They shared a comfortable silence, both contemplating their futures. The weight of their pasts still lingered, but it felt lighter now, as if they had begun to shed the burdens they carried for so long. "Do you think you'll keep creating art?" Travis asked, curious about Ella's plans. "Definitely," she said, her eyes sparkling with conviction. "I want to use my experiences and emotions as a foundation for my work. This trip has reignited a passion I didn't even realize I was missing." Travis smiled, inspired by her determination. "I can't wait to see what you create. You have such a unique perspective, and it deserves to be shared with the world." She turned to him, her expression sincere. "And what about you? What will you do once this journey ends?" Taking a deep breath, Travis reflected on his thoughts. "I want to find a way to help others who are struggling, like I have. I think my experiences can guide me in making a difference." Ella's eyes softened. "You already are making a difference. Just being here with me has shown me how important it is to connect and share our stories." Travis felt a warmth spreading through him. "Thank you, Ella. This journey has been more than I could have ever hoped for, and I wouldn't trade it for anything." As they continued to gaze at the stars, a shooting star suddenly streaked across the sky, leaving a dazzling trail behind. Travis and Ella both gasped, the beauty of the moment capturing their hearts. "Make a wish," Ella exclaimed, her voice filled with excitement. Travis closed his eyes, thoughtful for a moment. "I wish for more adventures like this, more moments where we can connect and grow together." Ella smiled, her gaze still fixed on the stars. "I wish for us to always find the beauty in life, no matter where we are." They laid there for a while longer, sharing small dreams and hopes as the night deepened. The connection between them felt stronger than ever, a bond forged through shared experiences, laughter, and the understanding that they weren't alone in their struggles. Eventually, they decided it was time to head back. their hearts full and spirits high. As they packed up the blanket, Travis looked forward to the adventures still ahead of them, knowing that whatever challenges lay in their path, they would face them together. Driving back toward their campsite, Travis glanced over at Ella, illuminated by the soft glow of the dashboard lights. "No matter what happens next, I'm grateful for this journey with you," he said, sincerity in his voice. Ella turned to him, her eyes shining. "Me too, Travis. Here's to new beginnings and endless possibilities." As they drove into the night, they felt ready to embrace whatever awaited them, knowing that together they could turn every moment into an adventure, each day a new page in the story of their lives.